Hi, I'm Nancy. Welcome to Mindful Yoga. Today we are going to be doing an energetic practice of 35 minutes. We're going to be starting with the energy producing breath, the kapalabhati, which is that sharp exhale through the nose with a passive inhale. Then we'll be opening up our shoulders, opening up our hips, culminating in pigeon. So coming from downward dog into pigeon in a variety of ways. Join me now as we start breathing, our pranayama training as yogis. And first, just arrive, welcome, finding your body, finding your breath, bringing your attention to the refresh of the inhale and to the rest and anchoring down of the exhale. Lifting up through the inhale, rooting down through the earth on the exhale. Feeling a surge of energy on the inhale, and letting that energy descend, releasing tension on the exhale. Now we'll turn towards kapalabhati, this energetic breath. We're going to bring our fingers here so that we can feel the diaphragm. And it's just a matter of exhaling through the nose at your own speed. We'll do it twice, about 20 times, as it works for you. Please begin by inhaling, exhaling. Inhale halfway and begin. And let that go. Inhale and exhale. Inhale halfway. Begin. And then inhaling, and as you exhale, bring your whole body forward. And inhale up. Let's start with an arm revolution. Opening up the shoulder, gaze follows the fingers as they come around. Inhaling up and exhaling around. One last time around the opposite direction. Let the other arm do its arm revolution, lifting up breath and arm together and exhaling, descending down with arm and breath. And one time around the opposite direction. Now bring a bend to the elbows, hands are out in front of you. Squeeze the shoulder blades together using the muscles between the shoulder blades and the spine. Your arms will probably move, widen, but not of their own accord or muscle, but rather because you are squeezing those muscles between the shoulder blades and the spine. Very important for posture and handy for the little back bend that we'll have as we do pigeon. For 3, 2, and 1. Take anything high out from underneath you. Bring your feet wide in front of you. Good support through your hands up through your shoulders in the back. And windshield wiper the knees, beginning to open up through the hips. Rolling across the feet. Hips rise so that as the knees come across, there's not too much strain on the lumbar lower spine. The hips rise to bring you around, and then bringing an arm around, feeling the momentum as you go back towards the corner. One more time on each side. Then coming around, coming up onto a knee and bringing your hand back towards that back corner. Sit down, come across the other way, lift up and reach back towards the corner. Just modifying as you need to. All of these are suggestions. Now we're going to lie down. And we'll come into a happy baby. So bringing the knees up towards the chest, giving them a hug. Then letting the knees come towards the armpits and giving them a hug. Then opening out the back of the legs as feet rise and hands come to where it's comfortable. Opening the back of the legs as you stretch up through the heel. Just very gradually opening the hamstring and the calf. And then bring the feet down just a few inches below the buttocks. Bring the ankle of the left foot up onto the thigh on the right. This time we're going to lift that right leg. Hands give support behind. Flex the ankle of the left leg. And relax into that figure four. A little stretch along the piriformis muscle that runs from the spine across over towards the hip area. Good for loosening up in the sciatic nerve. One more inhale and exhale here. Bring it down. Right ankle comes up on left thigh. Raise the left leg. Flex the right ankle. Let the attention come to that area of the buttocks that you are feeling. Relaxing down as you can through the thigh, through the glutes, through the piriformis muscle. Letting the exhale release the tension. One more inhale and exhale. Bring the feet down. Knees remain bent, feet below the buttocks. Raise the head and shoulders. Hands are along the side, palms down on the mat. Slide the hand down towards the heel or along the side of the foot. Engaging through pelvic floor and particularly the transverse abdominis, that muscle in the lower abdomen that wraps around from the spine around to the middle of the front of the body, right down the lower part of the pelvis. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. And bring the head back. Give your neck a little rub back there. Then roll over on your sides, please. Bring the forearm underneath the shoulder. Legs are at an easy V. Reach the arm out, bring it back. Gaze goes up towards the ceiling. Considering any issues you have in the shoulder, just using this as an opportunity to open up. And as you come back the next time, coming to a point where you can turn your wrist. And if your hand's straight up towards the ceiling, that's fine. 3, 2, 1, and back around the opposite way. 3, 2, and 1. Bring the hand below the knee. Nose and knee come towards each other. Hand runs down the shin, pulls back on the leg, opening through the front of the hip flexor and up through the front of the body. And if it's too much on the knee, you can always just have a less of a bend in the knee. Once again, knee to nose, opening up through the front side of the body in preparation for pigeon. And once again, also in preparation for life. We always need opened at these spots. And bring it down. Now let's switch over to the other side and do the same thing. Make sure that that elbow is right under the shoulder, giving some good support. Bring the arm forward, open back, forward and back, forward and back, finding a place where it's comfortable for you to turn the wrist. 3, 2, 1. Back around the opposite way. 3, 2, 1. Bring the hand down to the knee, knee to nose. Run the hand down the shin. Open up through the front of the quad, the front of the hip flexor, through the shoulder, up through the ribs, and coming back. Opening up in whatever manner you are able to do this. Doing it on the floor like this makes opening up easier. We're not demanding too much of our muscles at the same time. And bring it down. And we'll come into a tabletop position. Hands are directly under shoulders, knees under hips. Let the tailbone rise, let that ripple up through the spine. Tailbone turns down, and let that ripple into an arched back, going between cat and cow. Bringing energy to the spine, opening up through the front and the back of the spine. One last time in each direction. Make sure that your left hand is securely under your shoulder and your right knee under your hip. Right arm and left leg stretch out. Foot can always be down in the back if you wish. Bringing in the knee towards the fist, lengthening and curling, and lengthening and curling. One more time, strengthening the body. Right hand comes under the shoulder, left knee under the hip, other arm and leg stretch out and curl in. Find your length here and find your curl. 2 more times. Now bring your right foot forward and stretch back through your left heel. So we're in a long, low lunge here on your fingertips. If you'd like to have some blocks here, that would be fine as well. So we're opening up through that back calf. Maybe you come back and forth a little bit, pulsing to open up through the calf. Then bring that back knee down, roll over the front heel. Bow over the front leg, keeping some length in the spine. Pause for a moment, let the knee be soft. Coming forward once again, let energy come back through the heel. Rolling over the front heel. One more time. Stretching back. Opening through the calf and the front of the hip flexor again. And opening up in the back of this leg gradually. Bring the knees back together. Left foot comes forward into long, low lunge. Pulsing as the heel Comes back and forth, opening up through the calf, letting it breathe the blood through it. Back knee comes down, rolling over the front heel. Keep some length through the spine. Coming forward, laser energy coming back through that heel. Enjoying the opening in the back of the leg, the front of the hip. Rolling over the front heel once again, keeping that long spine. One more time in each position. Bring the knees together. Come back onto your toes. Feet come together, slowly rolling up. Inhale up, exhale down. Hands come to shin, long through the spine as you press into the shin and come down. Knees and hips are soft as arms sweep out and up and come back to the heart. Now we're going to do a high lunge here. So all toes are forward, finding your width. There's a little bit of space between the heels, but this width might be more narrow between the legs themselves or farther back. Find your balance here, bringing the thighs in towards the hips, feeling the 9 and 3 on a clock position of the hips. Open the arms, palms forward, squeezing the shoulder blades together and letting the lower tips of the shoulder blades rest down. The lower ribs resting down. So even as we're lifting up on the inhale, we relax down through ribs and shoulder blades on the exhale. Now we'll come into cactus arms. So we're 90 degrees at the elbows. Again, making sure those lower tips of the shoulder blades are resting down. Squeezing shoulder blades together. Then bring the hands over the head. Fingers are just about touching, but not quite. Palms are up. Inhale up and exhale back. Inhale up, exhale back. 2 more times. And hands come to the hips. Bring the feet together. And the left foot stays in the front now as the right foot goes back. Securing the hips, drawing in through the thighs, opening into peaceful warrior, palms forward, shoulder blades tucking together. On the exhale, any tension through shoulder blades or front ribs can drift down. Come into cactus arms, opening through the chest. Fingers are wide here, as if you're pressing against a wall, giving yourself support. Then hands come overhead, pushing up and coming back to the head. Inhale up, exhale back. One last time. Bring hands down and feet together. Bring the feet directly under the hips. Hands come up into steeple fingers, 4 fingers up, ground down through the feet. Inhale up through the whole body, up through the fingers, and exhale over to one side, keeping length, particularly from the pelvis up through the ribs. As much length attention as there is attention on the side bend. Keeping a long, silky spine here. Every day, opening up a bit to the sides, opening up in a spiral twist, and opening up the front and back of the spine. And bring the hands down. We're going to come back to the mat now into a prone position as we work our way towards pigeon pose. Come down completely into a prone position, into Sphinx, with the forearms underneath the shoulders, slight tugging through the hands and elbows. That brings a responsive opening from the pelvis up through the heart, the roof of the mouth. However, keeping a forward movement so you keep a long spine. Feeling the pelvis plugging into the earth, the rising and falling of the breath. Let the torso come down. Hands come back, they're wide, and the palms are outwards with thumbs up. Head and shoulders rise. I'm on my lower ribs at the bottom of the lift. And I'm engaging through the glutes. You might bring the inner thighs towards each other, feet and knees. Glutes are quite engaged, as are the hamstrings and the muscles along the sides of the spine. For 3, 2, and 1. Bring the right arm horizontal under the shoulders as we open up into a half bow pose. Right arm is under the shoulders, left foot comes up as that knee bends, and left hand comes back to get some clothing or ankle or foot. Foot might press into hand, lengthening from the hip through the knee, along the quad, and a slight lift there is optional. Finding what of this works for you and serves you. Bring the left arm horizontal under the shoulders, right knee bends, right hand goes back, finding your place here, perhaps just yearning back towards that foot. Perhaps pushing the foot into the hand, stretching back from hip to knee. And let it come down. Then let the torso come down, both arms come back, both legs bend, and you may just stay like this with a lift in the head and shoulders and a reaching back. That's fine. If you catch feet or clothing, push feet into the hands, let that open the heart, knees rise, keep the knees from splaying apart from each other. For 3, 2, and 1, and bring it down. Bring the hands underneath the cheek and take a few breaths. Good effort. And bringing the hands under the shoulders, let's lift up into downward dog. Keep the knees quite soft at first, wide hands pressing into the mat, strong through arms and shoulders, long through the spine, pedaling through the legs, which already we have started to open. Then coming forward into plank for 3, 2, and 1. Elbows in, knees down, a slight cobra. Back up into downward dog. Pigeon is more or less a figure 4. So if it's too hard on the knees to do this, go on your back and enjoy a figure 4, and that will give you much the same stretch. You might come down on your knees down and into pigeon, or raise the right leg up And bring it through, bringing the knee, the right knee towards the right wrist. The calf can be diagonal. It might be right under the thigh or a little bit to the side. Find your place here. And we'll first come into a rather high pigeon. So keeping the hips high, tension, holding the thighs up towards the hips, opening the arms in peaceful warrior, shoulder blades coming towards each other, relaxing down through the lower tips of the shoulder blades and the front ribs. Lifting up, strong up from the knees, through thighs, up through the torso, up through the crown. And exhaling, letting go of what tension you can in the ribs and the shoulder blades. Then bring the hands down and walk the back foot back a little farther so that your hips come down, finding a place that works for you. Hands are all around the knee area now. This allows a little more opening through the hip flexor as you press down through the front of that foot. You can always tuck your toe if you need to. Pressing down through the shin, the knee, letting that help to open and relieve some of the pressure on the abdominal muscles. And keep some tension here in the hips as you are doing this, so you're not completely falling into your ligaments in the hips and the knee. And then bring the hands together in front and come down. If you want to move your knee aside to do this, feel free, bringing your head down on the back of the palms and letting as much tension as you can descend down into the earth. Pushing back up into downward dog. Pedaling the legs again, reaching back, engaging through the front of the torso and the shoulder blades. Strong downward dog here. Hips coming back a little farther towards the wall behind you. Left leg is going to come up, or you come down on your knees. At any rate, bring the left knee towards the left wrist, arranging your body as it suits. Keeping the hips high at first, drawing the thighs together towards the hips, keeping just enough muscle tension in the hips so that there's no falling down through the hips. This is a strengthening exercise and an opening exercise for hip flexor, for heart, chest area, shoulders. One more inhale and exhale here. Then bringing the hands down around the knee, walk that foot back a little bit farther. So although there's still tension through your hips, they're farther down. Hands can stay right here along the hip. Press down through knee, shin, and top, the front of the foot in the back, so that you feel some more opening and also get support from that area. Pressing into the front of the shin in the front leg as well. Just keeping a little bit of tension there so the hips don't hang down into their ligaments. And then coming forward, finding a comfortable place, maybe unfolding your leg and bringing it back behind, bringing your head down onto your palm, the backs of your hands. Then bringing both legs back. Let's come back into Sphinx for a moment, stretching out through the legs. finding that long spine, feeling the refresh of the breath, and the exhale, relaxing you down. One more inhale and exhale here. And then rolling over on your side. May you feel the energy of your breath rising and falling, refreshing you, and letting tension dissipate down into the earth. Namaste. Good to practice with you.